I welcome you all to today's session, which is on partnership. As you are aware, many a business start with partnerships. Now, in a business, a partnership invests a particular amount of money for a particular duration of time. And then at the end of the year, the profits are divided between the partners or among the partners, if at all there are more than two partners, in a particular ratio. Now, how is the profit divided amongst the partners, and what kind of questions, the patterns, the difficulty levels are involved, and the way we are supposed to find the solution, we will discuss today in this session. Now, let us say A and B together started a business. A invested rupees X for T1 months and B invested rupees Y for T2 months. At the end of the year, they will distribute the profits in the ratio A is to B, which is X into T1, Y into T2. So, A and B, they have made an investment. The investment here is rupees X and rupees Y respectively. The time duration for which they make this investment, when we are talking about a particular year, then this time duration might be in months. A might have started the business, let us say in January. Till December, his money was there in the business, that is for 12 months. And B joined him, let us say 3 months later, that is in April. Then B's money would stay in the business for 9 months. So A's money stayed in the business for T1 duration or T1 months, and B's money stayed in the business for T2 duration or T2 months. So the ratio in which they will divide their profits would be X T1 is to Y T2. Now, based on this, we will solve the questions that follow. A and B together start a business. A invested rupees 1,000 for 12 months and B invested rupees 2,000 for 6 months. At the end of the year, in what ratio will they distribute the profit? Now, as you can see, A's investment is 1,000 and B's investment is rupees 2,000. The time duration for which A's investment stayed in the business was 12 months, and for B, it was 6 months. Hence, the profit ratio is going to be 1,000 into 12 and 2,000 into 6. That is 12,000, which is nothing but 1:1. Now, while performing calculations, what you can do is, this 1,000 and 2,000 here itself, you can remove the zeros. 6 and 12, you can balance out here. 6 2s are 12. 2 and this 2 also get balanced. So ultimately, you get 1:1. Now let's look at the next question. A started a business by investing rupees 1,000. After 3 months, B becomes a partner in the business by investing rupees 1,000, and 3 months later than that, C becomes a partner by investing rupees 1,000. So let us say A started the business in the month of January. Now B joins after 3 months, that is on 1st of April, let us say, and C joins 3 months later than that. April, May, June. So that is, let us say, 1st of July. So investment happens to be the same, but the time durations differ. So A's money stayed in the business for 12 months. 3 months later, B joined. So 12 minus 3, B's investment stayed in the business for 9 months. And 3 months later than that, C joined. So 9 minus 3, that is C's investment stayed in the business for 6 months. So multiplying these, you can cancel these because they happen to be the same. So ultimately it works out to be 12:9:6 as these zeros get cancelled. All these three figures are divisible by 3. So 3 4s is 12, 3 3s is 9, 3 2s is 6. So 4:3:2. The total ratio points, as we know, is 9. Now, basic concept of ratio and proportion must be very clear to you. Now, this you know is nothing but these are the ratio points. So this total is 9x. Now, at the end of the year, they have to divide a profit of rupees 18,000 among them. So when you compare 9x with 18,000, find that x, which is the multiplier, is nothing but 2,000. So each of these values is multiplied with 2,000, each of these ratio points. So 4 into 2,000, that is 8,000. 3 into 2,000, that is 6,000. 2 into 2,000, that is 4,000. A quick check, 8 plus 6, 14. 14 plus 4, 18,000. So this is how we will divide the profit among these three persons. Now next question. A and B start a business together, and at the end of the year, they distributed the profit in the ratio 2:3. At the beginning of the year, if A had invested rupees 4,000, then how much did B invest? Now, nothing is given about the time duration, which means that the time duration for which A's money stayed in the business must be the same as the time duration for which B's money stayed in the business, which is nothing but 12 months here, because we're talking about the end of the year. So it is already given that the ratio in which they distribute the profit is 2:3. So this is 2x and this is 3x. And it's also given that the investment made by A at the beginning of the year is rupees 4,000. Now this 2x gets equated to 4,000. So 2x is equal to 4,000, which means x is equal to 2,000. Again, we get our multiplier here. So that's how we are arriving at 4,000. Now this multiplier, because the value of x is known here, has to be multiplied with 3, as you can see here, to get 6,000 as the investment made by B at the beginning of the year. Look at the next question. Danish, Ramu and Arun, they started a business by investing rupees 27,000, rupees 81,000 and rupees 72,000 respectively. Now respectively means in that order. So this is investment of A, this is investment of B, and this must be the investment of C. At the end of the year, Ramu earned a profit of rupees 36,000. So find out the total profit earned at the end of the year. Once again, here the time period for which the investment stayed in the business for each of the person happens to be the same, which is 12 months. So we will not consider that, but because into 12, into 12, into 12 happens to be the same, so that gets balanced out. So Danish, Ramu and Arun, this is their investment. So the thousands, we can do away with the zeros here. So the ratio we obtain as 3:9:8. Why? Because 27, 81 and 72, each of these figures is divisible by 9. So 9 3s are 27, 9 9s are 81 and 9 8s are 72. So 3x, 9x, 8x, 12, 3 plus 9, 12 plus 8, 20. So 20x is the total profit earned. Now, we are given 36,000 as the amount of profit which has been earned by Ramu. So this 9x, how does it become 36,000? So 9x gets equated to 36,000, which means x is 36,000 by 9. The multiplier x here is 4,000. 9 into 4,000 is 36,000. So total profit is what we are supposed to find out, which is 20x here. So 20 gets multiplied with 4,000 to give us 80,000 as the total profit which is earned at the end of the year. If you want to find out the profits which have been individually earned by Danish and Arun, you just need to multiply their ratio points with 4,000, which is the multiplier. So 3 into 4,000, which is 12,000. That is a profit received by Danish, and Arun receives 8 into 4,000, which is 32,000, in case you are asked about their profits as well. Next question. Raj started a business by investing rupees 1,500. It's a very simple topic, as you can see, but the basic concept of ratio and proportion needs to be very clear. Now, after 3 months, now the duration comes into picture. Arun joined him by investing rupees 4,500. If at the end of the year they made a profit of rupees 585, then find out the difference between the profit shares of Raj and Arun. Now see, it is already given to us that the investment made by Raj is rupees 1,500, and after 3 months Arun has joined with 4,500. So the time durations here, Raj's investment stayed in the business for 12 months, and as Arun joined after 3 months, so Arun's investment must have stayed in the business for 12 minus 3, that is 9 months. So simply you can remove the zeros here. So 15 into 12 and 45 into 9 is what we have. Again, you can cut all these. So 15 into 3 is 45, 3 into 3 and 3 into 4. So it works out to be 4:9. So 4x, 9x, 13x is what you get. Now, the question is asking you to find out the difference between the profit shares. So this is 9x, this is 4x, so the difference here is 5, or let us say this is 5x. 9x minus 4x. This is 9x minus 4x. Also, it is given that at the end of the year they made a profit of rupees 585. So this is the profit which is made, which is equivalent to 13x. So 13x is equal to 585. X here is 585 by 30. 13 into 4 is 52. 6 remains 65. So 13 into 5. is 65. So 45 is the multiplier. So 13 into 45 is this. So difference is 5x. So you will multiply 5x, 5 here with 45 to get rupees 225 as a difference between the profits earned by Raj and Arun. Next question. A and B invested rupees 12,000 and rupees 16,000 to start a business. After 8 months, C joined the business with an investment of rupees 15,000. How much will be C's share out of a profit of rupees 45,600 earned at the end of 2 years? Now this 2 years, you know, is nothing but it is 2 into 12, that is a 24 months duration. So that's how you're supposed to check the time duration for which their money stayed into the business. So A is to B is to C. These are the investments which are made: 12,000, 16,000 and 15,000. So zeros go away like this. Now the time duration. For A, A's money stayed in the business for 24 months. Similarly, B's money stayed into the business for 24 months. Now after 8 months of starting the business, C joined them. So 24 minus 8, C's money stayed into the business for 16 months. So what we have here is a 12 into 24, 16 into 24 and 15 into 16. That's what is written here. You can easily reduce this by dividing each of these figures throughout by 8. So 8 3s are 24, 8 3s are 24, 8 2s are 16. Now you can still divide it with 3. So 3 1s are 3, 3 1s are 3 and 3 5s are 15. You can still reduce it further because you have a 2, 16 and 12. So 2 gone here. 16 becomes 8 and 12 becomes 6. So what you are left here with? 6. You're left here with 8. You're left here with 5. So 6 is to 8 is to 5, which is nothing but 6x, 8x and 5x. 19x is the total sum of their ratio points. So we have to find out C's share out of a total profit of 45,600. So the total profit is already stated as 45,600, which is equivalent to 19x. So 19x equals 45,600. X is 45,600 by 19. So 19 into 2 is 38, remainder 7, 76. So 19 into 4 is 76, followed by 2 zeros. So you found out the multiplier x to be 2400. So you need to multiply everywhere with 2400. So you would need to find out C's share. So what we will do is here 5 gets multiplied with 2400 because the value of x here is 2400 as we found out here, which is nothing but rupees 12,000 out of 45,600. That is C's share. Next question. X and Y take a grazing field for their cows on lease at the rate of rupees 30 per month for 10 months. If 10 cows of X graze for 9 months, then how many cows of Y should graze in the field in the remaining month so that the total rent to be paid by Y is rupees 60 less than the total payment to be paid by X? Now, first of all, total rent which is to be paid by X and Y is the rent paid by X plus rent paid by Y. How much is that in total? Rupees 30 for 10 months. So 30 into 10. Total rent to be paid is rupees 300. Quite less, right? Prehistoric times, you can say. Now, total rent to be paid by Y should be 60 rupees less than the total payment paid by X. So Y here is nothing but it is 60 less than X, so X minus 60. So this we will substitute here in place of Y. So we get X plus X minus 60. This is nothing but Y. X plus Y is 300. So with this, we find that this is 2x minus 60 is equal to 300, which is 2x is equal to 360, which means x here equals to 180. If x is 180, the total sum is 300. So 300 minus 180 is 120. As simple as that. The amount paid by x by the amount paid by y. This is the ratio. So 180 by 120. This is the ratio in which they make their payments. Now the ratio in which their cattle graze in the field, for X, 10 cows graze for 9 months. So 10 into 9 is his utility. Now Y number of cows into 1 month, because 9 months the cows of X had grazed the field. Now only 1 month is left because they had taken this field on rent or on lease for 10 months. 9 months utilized by X, so 1 month remains for Y. So how many cows of Y should graze the field? Y is eligible for how many number of cows to graze in this field for the remaining 1 month? So just resolving this, as we know, 9 into 10 is 90. So 180 goes by 2. 2 and 120 go by 60. So 60 cows of Y can graze in the remaining last month in this particular field, so as to ensure that Y did justice to the payment he made towards the rent. Look at the next question. A, B and C hire a video shooting unit for a week at a rent of 9,800, which they use for 12 hours, 6 hours and 10 hours respectively. So A 12 hours, B 6 hours and C 10 hours. That is what is given to us. So how much rent will A have to pay? Quite simple. A is to B is to C is already given to us as 12 is to 6 is to 10. You can further reduce this and it becomes 6 is to 3 is to 5. So 14 ratio points is what we have. And so here we can say A is to B is to C is 6x, this is 3x, this is 5x, and this totals to 6 plus 3, 9 plus 5, 14x. Now total rent is already given to us, that is 9800. So this is 9800. So from 14x, how do you arrive at 9800? So 14x equals 9800. X equals 9800 by 14. That means x is equal to 14 sevens are 98, right? So it amounts to 700. So multiplier we have already found out. Now you have to find out how much rent will A have to pay. So A is 6x. So 6 into 700. The value of x here is 700. So that is nothing but 4200. Another way, 9800 into 6 by 14 works out to be the same. That is 4200. Here you can find out individually for B and C as well. Alright, A, B and C together start a business. A invests 1/3 of the total investments made. And B invests an amount which is equal to the total amount invested by A and C together. So the total investment here is A plus B plus C. And B invests an amount which is equal to the total amount invested by A and C. So as simple as that, A and C. So total investment here is A plus B plus C. It is nothing but B plus B, which is twice of B. So B anyhow is investing half of the amount. So after 1 year, how much profit will C receive out of a total profit of rupees 18,000? Now here A has invested 1/3, B has invested, let us say A is 1/3, B is half. So how much will C invest? Well, C's investment is 1 minus 1 by 3 plus 1 by 2. That is 1 minus 5 by 6, which is nothing but 1 by 6. Now we know A is to B is to C is 1 by 3 is to 1 by 2 is to 1 by 6. Now multiply all the numerators by 6 because the LCM here is 6. 3, 2 and 6, LCM is 6. Alright? So taking that, you have 3 2s are 6, 2 3s are 6 and 6 1s are 6. 2 is to 3 is to 1 is the ratio in which they should divide their profits. Now this is 6x and you have to find out for C. So directly you can do 1800 into 1 by 6, that is 3000, and because the 6x equals 18,000, that is the total profit. So x here is 18,000 by 6, which means x here is 3000. So total profit received by C is 3000. We have found that out. You can also find out by using 18,000 into 1 by 6, which is working out to be 3000 anyhow. Okay, the next question. A and B start a business by making an investment in the ratio 4:5 respectively. After 3 months, now again time duration is coming into view. A withdraws 1/4 of his investment and B withdraws 1/5 of his investment. After 10 months of starting the business, how much will be the profit share of B out of a total profit of 3,800? Now the total investment made by A here is, now this is A, this is B. A has invested 4x and B has invested 5x initially. Investment of 4x remained in the business for 3 months. And then from this 4x, he has withdrawn 1/4 of his investment. How much is 1/4 of 4x? That is x. So x is withdrawn out of 4x. How much remains? It is 3x which remains. How many months are these in total? 10. For the first 3 months, 4x money was invested. Now, for the next 7 months, 3x will be the money which will remain invested for A. Now, similarly, the story goes for B. After 3 months, B has withdrawn 1/5, which means that 5x investment of B remained in the business for 3 months. After 3 months, what happened? B withdrew 1/5 of his investment. How much is 1/5 of 5x? Well, it is again x. So withdrew x, remaining is 4x. So 4x is now the investment of B, which remained in the business for 7 months. So this is what we have. 4 into 3 and 3 into 7. As you can see, 4 into 3, 3 into 7. Then 5 into 3 plus 4 into 7. Now this gives us a ratio 33:43. Now this is the ratio in which the profits will get divided. So the total profit made here is 3,800. We have to find out B's profit. So B's profit here is 43. By this 33 plus 43 is 76, right? So 43 by 76 into 3,800. Or as we usually do, this is 33x, this is 43x, total is 76x, which is equivalent to 3,800. So this must be 50. Alright, so now you need to find out B's profit, B's share of profit, so into 50 here. So this works out to be 2150 as a profit received by B. Next question. A started a business by investing rupees 1,200. B and C joined the business by investing unequal amounts, unequal amounts, after 3 months and 6 months respectively. If at the end of the year, A, B and C distribute the profit in the ratio 2:3:5, then how much money did B invest? So A is to B is to C, we know that the investment made by A is rupees 1,200. Investments made by B and C are unknown, so we are taking it as rupees B for B and rupees C for C. Now after 3 months and 6 months, B and C had joined. So A's investment, it stayed in the business for 12 months. Why? Because they are distributing the profit at the end of the year. End of the year, complete 1 year is 12 months. And B joined after 3 months, so 12 minus 3, 9 months is the duration for which B's investment stayed in the business. And C joined after 6 months. It is not 6 months later than B, alright? It is 6 months later. So 12 minus 6, C's investment stayed in the business for 6 months. So this is what we have, 1,200 to 12, B into 9 and C into 6. As you can see, these figures go by 3. So this is 3B, this is 2C, and this is 6. So what we have here is that the ratio is already given to us as 2:3:5. This is 2x, this is 3x, this is 5x. Now we will compare these figures. And as we need to find out for B, so this is 2 plus 3, 5 plus 5, 10x in total. And this 2x is equivalent to 1,200 into 6. So 2x is equal to 1,200 into 6. Obviously this gets cut. X here equals to 12 into 3, 36. That is 3,600. So this 3x, we will multiply 3,600 to this to get the investment made by B. Now this would amount to, let us say, 1,200 into 12, then B into 9 and C into 6. That is 1,200 into 12, 9B and 6C. And you want to find out how much money did B invest. So you know that if A is to B is equal to X is to Y, then A by B is equal to X by Y. It is already given to us that the ratio in which they distribute their profit is 2:3:5. So for A and B it is 2:3, the ratio in which they are distributing their profits. So just by taking that, 1,200 into 12 is the effective investment of A at the end of the year. The effective investment of B at the end of the year is 9B. So it is investment of A by investment of B, and that has to be in the ratio 2:3, so 2 by 3. Now, when we resolve this further, this 3 cancels with this 9, goes by 3. This 3 cancels 12, goes by 4. And this 2 cancels 4, goes by 2. So what we are left with is 1,200 into 2. So the investment made by B was 2,400. Next question. Kapil and Nakul together started a business. Now Kapil invested 3 times the investment made by Nakul for a duration twice that of Nakul's. If Nakul receives 4,000 out of the total profit made, then find out the total profit. Now you just need to read the statements carefully. They might be presented to you in a twisted format, but read it carefully word by word and then transform that instruction into mathematical form. Now, I take Kapil and Nakul here, K is to N, the investment which is made. So let us say Nakul made an investment of rupees X. Now Kapil invested 3 times the investment made by Nakul. So Kapil's investment must be 3x. For a duration twice that of Nakul's. Let us say Nakul invested for the time period I am taking here as T months. So Kapil's investment stayed here for 2T months because he invested for double the duration, twice the duration of Nakul's. So this works out to be 6xt and this is xt. So the ratio comes out to be 6:1. Now if Nakul has received 4,000 as a profit, so the value of x here is 4,000. Alright, so the total profit here has to be 7x, so 7 into 4,000. This because this is 1 into 4,000, x here is 4,000. So this has to be 28,000 has to be the total investment. So you can just read it like this as well. 3 into 2 as we did here. This is 1 into 1 as we did here. So 6:1 is the ratio. This anyhow into 4,000 will give us a 4,000. Okay. So 7 into 4. 28,000 is the total profit. So that was partnership for you. You can go through these questions again and again, look at the complexities, work them out, and try and practice variety of questions. We will meet again in the next session and discuss another topic. Till then, I wish you all the best. Do well. Stay safe.